The clip you are about to see was not broadcast by the BBC or any other big media corporation. And maybe it was almost wiped out from the internet because it exposes Meghan using a secret controlling gesture on Harry. Welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and it would be great if you join us by just liking this video, subscribing, and hitting that bell. Let's get down to it. When you want to analyze body language, you are looking for reactions, and any reaction is a change in emotional display or attitude. But first, to be able to detect the change, you have to establish the initial state of the person. In this case, Harry is talking in a very fluid manner, using his right hand gestures to add more intensity to his words, and he's at a personal distance from the couple he's talking to. It's also important to notice that they are paying attention to him. The three of them are forming a close triangle, and that's one of the ways you know that all of them are truly engaged in the moment. He has a good posture, and we could say that he is comfortable. This is his current or initial state. Just keep in mind that an initial state is different from a body language baseline. That is a person's common nonverbal expression. Now, here comes the change. When the clip starts, you can see Meghan's hand already up in the air about to touch him. She is looking directly at Harry, and that is relevant because usually when you're going to interrupt someone that is talking, you should excuse yourself. In this case, it's good manners that if you're interrupting, you say a simple "excuse me" and establish eye contact with what we could call the other people. As in, Meghan needs to call Harry's attention to her and away from them, so it would have been nice if she at the very least established eye contact with them. In fact, the man does exactly that. He notices that Meghan is approaching Harry, and he does the most natural thing in the world, that is searching for eye contact with her. But anyway, Meghan reaches out with her hand, touches him in the middle of his back, and says a few words. Harry turns around in mid-sentence, establishes eye contact with her, and immediately stares into the void. That stare that someone shows when they're trying to process what they just heard. He's not actually looking at something. Then he does a hand gesture with his thumb, signaling that in one way or another he has to get going. But this is the point that we get to the following facial expression, and I suggest that you pay good attention to it because its meaning might not be the first one that comes to mind. Now, you might say that this is just a silly face from Harry trying to excuse himself from having to leave. In fact, he's made that face a couple of other times, and there's even a high-resolution photograph around. But in body language analysis, it's not enough to define the what of people's nonverbal expression. It's even more important to define the why. In this case, the what is very simple, a silly face that is in some way part of Harry's baseline. But he doesn't do it all the time, and if you take a good look at this kind of expression, the emotion associated is being a bit terrified, even if it's just a playful way. But again, the why is important, and in this case it's relevant the reason why he reacted in that way, because he had other options. For example, acknowledging Meghan's call to action and proceeding to complete the idea that he was talking about. Maybe talk for a few more seconds and that's it. The context is also important, and in this case they were at the end of the Commonwealth service in 2019. The event had already ended, so one can wonder what could be so important that required the Duke of Sussex to just cut whatever he was doing. I don't mean that Harry should have some kind of rock star attitude or anything, but I'm sure that whatever or wherever he had to go next, it could wait. And if it were really important, then I don't think it would be Meghan to tell him that they had to go. It would be an assistant. The problem is that we already have enough instances of Meghan rushing and pulling Harry out of conversations, like the recent one at the veterans event. And you know that when a behavior pattern repeats over time, you realize that it's part of the person's behavior. And if you want to have a better chance of spotting those behavioral patterns, I suggest that you download my 100 body language tips right in the description of this video. So there's a very good chance that Meghan interrupted Harry because she just wanted to go. It's perfectly understandable. She being pregnant and having to attend the service for such a long time, it would not be comfortable for her at all. So there was a valid reason to call Harry's attention. But what happens in the last 2 seconds of the clip tell a whole different story. Let's see if you can spot it. Yeah, you noticed that, right? 2 things happened at the exact same time. Meghan reached out for Harry's hand and she pressed her lips. But there is a third signal that maybe you missed, and it's that Meghan turned her head away from Harry and the others before making that face. We, as spectators, can spot her face expression because for once she was not aware of the camera. Now, I remember that I've seen that exact same combination of gestures and facial expressions before. Right, it was at their wedding when she had her lips pressed right until she managed to grab Harry's hand. And in both moments, the same happened. She made the same forced smile. That is too much of a coincidence. When Meghan displays the same behavior signals in the same order, first showing some frustration because she doesn't have Harry's attention or is not holding Harry's hand, then she manages to get whatever she wants from him and her face lightens up, but with a forced smile. And let's not forget that she makes sure to hold his hand, keeping her thumb over, which is a display of power, protection, and control. But I want to emphasize that what is most relevant about this clip is Harry's immediate reaction with a silly face. It's like he's suddenly ashamed of engaging in a conversation, and when Meghan arrives and touches him, there's virtually no delay. That immediate reaction reinforces the theory that he already knows that when Meghan approaches him in a certain way and touches him in a certain way, well, he should behave in a certain way. The silly face is trying to make an excuse for such interruption to the people he was talking to, and it must have been an uncomfortable moment for everyone. Well, except for Meghan, because she was wearing what looks like a marshmallow on her head, so it seemed that she's not afraid at all about what people could think of her. And I absolutely support that attitude. If you want to support my channel and help me make more videos, all you have to do is like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss any of my body language analysis and tips. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas, and I'll see you soon, my body language buddies.